What's going on, y'all? Jimmy Macklin here. Before we get started, a couple of housekeeping things. You know what? I'll add that. I do try to change the intro up. A little more enthusiasm. A little more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little more like classical YouTube. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I just don't have it in me. Sorry. Also, I think the show of no name is really solid. I got some good suggestions, but I think it fits. With Justice League only one day away, I did get to check out some of the early Twitter things and posts and quick comments for the movie. Everybody seems to say it's not great, it's not bad. It's good, but has its problems. It's fine, but has its mistakes. The villain is not good, the heroes are, etc., etc. I will take that. I am not greedy at all. All I want is first of all, I want a good movie. That's number one. Number two, as far as the Justice League movie goes, if this is even, if it falls on the decent side. I'm not like those greedy so-and-sos who on The Price is Right, they spin that giant wheel and they get like an 85. I'm gonna spin it again, Drew. Spin it and they get a... I'm taking it and I'm running. Also in Justice League news, Ben Affleck says he doesn't want to be Batman anymore. Alright, those are not his exact words, but they're close enough to me. He's looking for a way to siege out of it. He's looking, you can't do this role forever, and he's not sure about the Matt Reeves Batman film, and he's not sure about this, he's not sure about that. I knew this was coming. I knew it. The second those rumors popped up, I said these rumors aren't coming out of nowhere. I'm not one of those guys who goes, oh, it's just clickbait for fan sites. They're just they're paying off people.
Stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. I know it. I know what's coming down the pike. He seems to be like an emotional guy. You know what I mean? People hating on his Batman. Not even hating on his Batman. People seem to enjoy his Batman, but hating on the DCEU, which deserves quite a bit of it, to be fair. I know it's going to stress him out. Stressing him out. Ben, wait till Justice League comes out. It's going to be well received. You wait a little longer. Come on, don't do this. Please don't do this. But how would you go about doing it? Because you are Bruce Wayne. You are the linchpin. Superman too, obviously. But for the most part, you are the linchpin to the universe. Batman is, especially in live action, he is easily the most popular DC character. Though Wonder Woman, I don't know. And you've already said this is Bruce Wayne. So how would you go about Ben Affleck leaving, right? And obviously keeping Batman in the universe. Would you recast it? Would you do somebody else's Bruce Wayne? I don't think you could get away with that. It's obviously too early to reboot the universe. It's one thing to replace Rachel Dawes or Rhodey. That's one thing. But you're going to replace Christian Bale. You're going to replace Robert Downey. You're going to replace Ben Affleck. I'm supposed to pretend like that's the same guy. I know they did in other Batman movies. It ain't the same. It's a different time and a different place. I would not enjoy it. So what you could do is if you could just throw a ton of money at Ben Affleck, right? A ton. And say, look, we got a trilogy, right? You do the first one. We'll introduce Nightwing and maybe Damian in the first movie. And then, right, you can die or retire. I don't like the idea of Batman retiring, Bruce Wayne retiring. So you could die. Oh, you know what you could do? Darkseid sends him back in time in the second Justice League movie. Right? Zoop. Bruce Wayne goes away. Nightwing takes over as Batman present day. Damian is his Robin, and then you go with that fantastic Grant Morrison arc of Batman and Robin. That's the move. And then you could have said Batman and said Robin in the next two Batman movies. You're welcome. You're welcome. And then if he ever changes his mind, right? All of a sudden, Bruce Wayne makes his way back to present day. Obviously, that is the second best case scenario. Best case scenario is Ben Affleck understands how important he is to the universe and to me in particular. Oh, the warehouse. And he gets his act together, and he comes back and plays Batman until he dies. In other Justice League news, Brett Ratner, accused of inappropriate sexual behavior on set, using his power as a filmmaker and film person, against women. Again, you know me, research, not entirely my strong suit. I see a headline, I read a couple lines, I get the general gist of it, and then if it's not like heinous, like Bill Cosby, I kind of just move on. And this didn't really affect me until I read that Gal Gadot, which is how you pronounce her name, according to her, don't argue with me, was going to leave the DCEU, not the DC, was going to leave Wonder Woman 2 if Brett Ratner was not removed as one of the producers. And this was like a big deal. This is like the opposite of a big deal. You know what happened when Gadot's agent or whoever went to Warner Brothers with that? You know what they did to Brett Ratner? Just that fast. Wonder Woman has made over $800 million. She's on the cover of GQ. Like, this is insanity. How Marvel missed the boat. Now listen, it's a lot of things went right with Wonder Woman. Number one, she did a fantastic job. I apologize to Zack Snyder. I already apologized to you for Ben Affleck as Batman. I apologize to you as Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. You completely nailed the DC Trinity. Your Lex Luthor needs work, clearly.
True! No.
But other than that, got the three heroes right. I'm good. Yeah, she made over $800 million. All of a sudden, Wonder Woman is A-list. She's always seemed like a step behind Batman and Superman. Now she's right there with them. And, yeah, Brett Ratner, no offense. If this was Zack Snyder, I can't even think of somebody who would, like, make this like a debate. I'm going to keep Gal Gadot no matter what. How Marvel missed the boat with this female superhero thing when he had Scarlett Johansson #1 and Black Widow #2 together for however many years before Wonder Woman. It just blows my mind. But it happens, I guess. Oh, by the way, did you see that movie, Red Sparrow, with Jennifer Lawrence? There was a trailer for it. I don't know if it actually came out. All you had to do was slap Black Widow on it. There's your movie. Oh well, it happens. Everybody can't make the boat at once. Now, speaking of sexual misconduct, it's a clean transition, wasn't it? Louis C.K., one of my favorite comedians and one of the best comedians of all time at this point, has been accused of sexual misconduct by, I think, 5 women at this point. Now, this story is a little bit different from the rest for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's a whole consent issue. And number two, there is the act of what he is actually doing. So, apparently, he would invite women to his hotel room or to an office. Did a little bit of research on this. To his hotel room or to an office, and he would whip his dick out. No, wait a minute. I almost skipped the part. The most important part of the story, which is going to make this more awkward and more likely to get me in trouble. He would ask if he could whip his dick out and jerk off in front of him. I'm sure there's a more polite way to say that. If I could put my penis out and masturbate in front of you. And they would say yes, either think it was a joke or feeling pressured because he's fucking Louis C.K. And he would do it. First of all, I'm not laughing, it's not funny. First of all, I'd say that is an odd choice. Not something I'm particularly into, but I'm not going to judge. Lots of things I didn't think I'd be into a few years ago that I'm into now. So maybe when I'm a 40-year-old white guy, I'll be into it. But, number two, this is tricky. At what point does yes not mean yes? I know what some of you are saying. Just don't ask. Fair enough. Now this whole issue that he was married and had kids at the time. So what? Yeah, it's bad for them, I guess. But as far as I mean, if they were to find out. But as far as me, I'm in my own world over here. That's number one. Number two. I'm joking, sort of. I think you get the general concept. And, yeah, when does yes not mean yes? Now, if you are his peer, and I use peer loosely because, again, this is a big deal. This is Louis C.K. This is one of the greatest comedians of all time. Maybe you feel a general pressure to say yes. But is... I'm kind of working this out as I go. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Now, the women who were invited to a show and then he invited them... These are just people, by the way. I don't particularly care who they are. They don't work for him, which is my main concern. People that he invited to his hotel room and then asked who thought he was just joking, and then he started doing it, and then he go, ugh, stop. By the way, why he didn't lose his boner looking at those faces, like, I don't know. They, I don't want to say tough luck. That's a bad word and a bad choice of verbiage, but it's the closest thing that can come to what I'm feeling. Like, he asked you to do something. He said yes. I assume he said it in his deadpan voice, and you thought it was a joke. I don't know what else to tell you. So rough. Yeah, sorry. Beat it. But, his underlings, his people that work for him, people who are underneath him in a totem pole, like, for example, there's a woman who's working in production who would like to remain nameless for the Chris Rock show where CK was a writer, and she said he asked her to watch him masturbate, and she said yes, because it's a producer. Her, I think we have a more legitimate case for her because, first of all, it's your boss. At some level, it's your boss. And they add other stuff, like she was in her early 20s, and she felt because of the culture, and go away. But your boss asks you to do something. This is uncomfortable. You need a job here. This is awkward. He just put himself out there. If you say no, right? Am I gonna get fired? Not for that, but for something else because he can't have me around. All types of things pop up. So, I think that is. I would go so far as to say that is sexual misconduct, abuse of power. Even if you're just asking, it's just dumb. I've always felt like this is a complicated, things like this, a complicated issue. At what point are you just protecting your livelihood? Would you protect your livelihood? And at what point does protecting your livelihood infringe upon the consent that another person may or may not believe you're giving them? Now, the simple solution to this, obviously, is for producers not to ask their underlings to jerk off in front of them. I think that would probably solve all of this. If my math is correct. Yeah, and by the way, I don't like the term rape culture, only because it makes it sound like there's a bunch of guys, in a basement somewhere, trading cards over rape. Which doesn't happen unless it's Hollywood. That was over the top. But I'd say we do have a real problem, at least in this country. I can't speak from around the world. I don't live around the world. I live here. How do you fix it, though? I don't know. I do have a theory. I might start doing a segment called King Macrum, where if I was made king of America, not a president, presidents have to be elected and have term limits, not a dictator, sound like the way it sounds, but a king, right? I move unilaterally. I do what I damn well please. How would I solve said problems? I'll tell you right now. King Macrum. Here's how I'd solve the rape issue if I had complete autonomy to do as I damn well please. So, this show is already off the rails. So, if this is where we want to get, this is completely just. And this is completely fair, right? So this is it being treated seriously, and this is being treated equally among everybody involved. I'd say America falls somewhere there, where it's not treated seriously and it's not treated fairly. But we can't just move it to the center. It takes too long. And too many people on this side are being fucked. Ugh, for the lack of a better term. Not the word I was looking for. Being screwed over. Being fuck it. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to move it in the opposite direction first, like a pendulum, and then bring it back to the middle. So rape would start to be treated like a impossibly bad offense. Yeah. There'd be minimum mandatory sentences. Forceful sexual assault would probably be life in prison, maybe even a death penalty. I don't like death penalty because it leaves no room for error. Like, if you messed up, he's dead. Can't really do anything about it. It's to pay the family. I'm not really big on death penalty just because of human error. So I'd say life in prison. Bill Cosby rape. Brock Turner rape. That would probably be, you know what? If I got it, I gotta go. Life in prison. Sorry. I'm sorry you couldn't control yourself. But you're a creep. You're in prison for life. Is there any other kind? I can't think of any other one. By the way, I don't want to say let me know. I'll do the research on my own. But I'm sure there's other kinds. Those are the two that come to mind. Like being drugged and passing out, or like unable to defend yourself, and then snatched in a stairwell somewhere. Right, there would be life in prison. Okay, and I do that for like a few years until I found like an even what it actually should be. Is it as bad as murder? Is it as bad as this? Is it as bad as that? And then I would scale it appropriately. Now, as far as false rape accusations go, I do believe that they should be handled harshly. But we can't do that right away. Because one of the main problems with the culture as I see it now is that a lot of women, I've known a few, are afraid to come forward because of, they think they won't be believed. They probably won't. They think it won't be taken seriously. Brock Turner, it probably won't. So if I'm going to say false rape accusations are going to be treated, harshly, then even less women are going to be coming forward. Yes, men are raped too. That's not right. Even less women are going to be coming forward. Less people are going to be coming forward, right? So I can't do that right away. We need people to feel comfortable in this system. So are some guys going to get wrapped up in the whirlwind? Yeah. And I feel for you. I feel for you in my hypothetical scenario. But it has to happen. We got to fix it somehow. So I'll say for 5 to 10 years, rape is treated as the highest of offenses. And it's just life in prison. Then, a decade later, you can scale it down just a tad. See, it's up here. We're going to scale it down just a tad. And now maybe we can add false rape charges to the thing. Where if you could be proven that you falsely accused somebody of rape, you get, I don't know, what's half of life in prison? 20 years or so? 20 years in prison. I'm trying to ruin that guy's life. If you're even still watching at this point, thank you. I could hear that unsubscribe button just being clicked. Oh well, I don't care. I do what I please. Speaking of, statutory. That's another one. I don't really consider that the same thing. Though I might, because we don't have a system yet. A global system of what the age of consent is. It's like 17 in the state that I'm in, New York State. It's like 16 in New Jersey. What is the culture different? A foot away? Really? It's like 14 in other places? Like, really, are all these people different? You're too young here, but you're old enough there, or you're not? Like, stop it. So we need like a worldwide system. That's never going to happen, but you need it. For me to take it a little more seriously. Though, at some point, I think you can just kind of eyeball it and go, this feels not okay to me. Like Roy Moore, for example. Forget the fact that he's an old mess. And has been an old mess for a while now. Somebody's like, dude, he wasn't always 70. Yeah, 30 years ago. He was a 40-year-old mess in a goofy cowboy hat. And apparently he was going out with girls the age of 15 and 16 and things like this. Now, this isn't really a political issue to me. This is a, dude, that's not okay issue. And he does not help himself at all. His answers to these questions are atrocious. As I know he's old, because when people tell you something, you might only hear that part of it, and then you just go with that. So I'm sure his lawyers told him, all right, when he asks you this question, the only thing you can't say is, I don't think so, or not usually, okay? Anything else, it's fair game. As long as you don't say that, you're fucking fine. And then he goes out to his interview, and they go, hey, Roy Moore, did you date teenagers? Did you date underage girls? And he goes, no, not usually. Not usually? What does that even mean? It means yes. That's a bad answer. That is an atrociously bad answer. And if I did, it was always with the parents' consent. Oh! Okay. If I was the parents, I'd be highly pissed at this point. I fucking... Roy, the fuck? I gave you permission to sleep with my underage daughter, and you throw me under the bus too? The fuck? Who says you slept with them? Maybe they were just going out for coffee. Yeah, then you're even weirder. At least sexual deviancy I can somewhat wrap my brain around. But no, you just want to talk to kids? Why? So yeah, it looks like he's not going to win that Senate race. Or whatever race he's in. Who cares? I'm sure the statute of limitations is passed, so he won't be brought up on any charges unless some new ones come forward. But yeah, just, why would you answer that? Why would you answer it that way? Unless you're just a mess. Were you not prepared for this interview? Hey, Mac, did you rob that bank? You can't prove it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the perfect answer. Good. Okay, I have absolutely zero way to transition to this next topic, so going from sexual pedophilia, quite frankly, to wrestling doesn't really work. I'm sure there's a wrestler I could use as a transition, but I don't have the time for it. Somebody asked me, I think it was Zori, about Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. Going to take place at NJPW. That is a gigantic deal for the indie scene to have Chris Jericho. Now, I don't mean to be rude. Chris Jericho to me is one of the top 10 wrestlers of my lifetime. I put him off the list for so long that trust me, it's a big deal for him to be on it. I had so many people had him, and he's just passed so many that his run is so ridiculous from WCW, from Japan to WCW, from Japan to ECW to WCW to WWE to the original Y2J run, and then I Am an Honest Man run until his list run. It's just been, he's one of the top 10 of my life. There's Flair, there's Hogan, there's Austin, there's Rock, there's Michaels, there's Taker, there's Cena. Yes, he's on the list. He has to be. I don't particularly much like him, but facts are facts. The matches, the promos, the merch, the ratings. And then right after that is probably Chris Jericho. No disrespect to Triple H and people like that. And Kenny Omega. Jericho and Omega, who has been one of the top indie talents for forever. So this is a big deal. Now, some people said they wish it was taking place in WWE. I think it was Jericho who said it wouldn't be nearly as big of a deal. And it wouldn't be. It'd just be another match on the card. It'd be a mid-card match. If it made that at WrestleMania. It might be an opening match at WrestleMania. But on any scene, it's a dream match. Now, as much as I like Chris Jericho, I think it is safe to say that he has lost a step. or two. I mean, his matches with Styles recently, Styles who has not lost a step in all his years, we're not quite clicking. Now, that might be a chemistry issue, but I'm not as hyped for this matchup as I thought I would be if you would have told me it was going to happen 5 years ago. So I'm interested to see if he has anything left in the tank as a top flight performer, Jericho that is. And it's nice to see the indie scene make some real headway. But indie, I'm not sure I'm not quite sure if they quite qualify as indie. They're just another major promotion that isn't WWE. There's NJPW, there's ROH, there's Global, whatever the fuck they call themselves now. It's over. And I said this a few weeks ago that we were seeing the slow death of WWE as we know it. As we know it. That's an important distinction. It's not going to go away. But as the singular destination and focus for wrestlers around the globe, those days are quickly coming to a head. The great Cody Rhodes, not Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, as in GOAT, has kind of been the spearhead recently to kind of show people you don't need them to succeed. In fact, you can make more money on the indie scene than there if you are worth it. So I suspect we'll see a lot more guys taking that route. And then eventually a second contender, whether it's ROH, whether NJPW really makes its presence known in the States, will put their foot to WWE's neck and we'll have to go at it again. Now, WWE is doing their best to stave this off. The Survivor Series card, which was looking atrocious a couple weeks ago with Lesnar and Jinder Mahal, that was a waste of months. And JJ Angle as part of the Raw Survivor Series team. And then they just turned their card around in a couple weeks. All of a sudden, Styles beats Mahal. It's Lesnar and Styles. Borderline dream match at Survivor Series. And then you got Triple H joining Kurt Angle as part of Team Raw. That 5-on-5 match is absolutely loaded. I could do without Shane. Good thing I have Shane for the last year or so, but they're not going away into the quiet night. I am so very interested. I got a couple of questions from last week's episode I would like to address. Number one, Stranger Things 2. I will try to check out. I can't even tell you. At some point, I looked at my schedule, which because my calendar is blocked in here. I don't know. I'm going to say sometime before the end of the year, once these CW shows go on break, I'll have a little more time on my hands. By the way, those shows are coming, CW shows. And Black Sails returns next week, along with Attack on Titan. Somebody asked, I think it was Cold Fire, what kind of music I listen to. Honestly, it's a little bit insane. If you listen to my song and it happens to be in alphabetical order, it'll go from like the Beatles to Biggie, or from James Brown to Jay-Z to Kanye West to, KRS-One, just a bunch of different things. There's Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd. Jimmy listens to Pink Floyd? Yes. The Velvet Underground. I know people don't think I'm up on these things. 60s. So yeah, 60s rock. I listen to 60s soul. I can listen to current rap. That new Jay-Z album has been like ringing in my ears the last few months. See, I don't have a particular kind of music. There's one more question. I totally forgot. I would look, but I'm not going to. Oh, right. Almost forgot. Not sure if you can see. Might be a glare on it. Look at that. Look at that. That is from a subscriber, Oscar Segal. Who knows I'm a fan of the great John Locke. There's also one up here for Peter Baelish. Chaos Ladder. From Someone Special. And the other two, my Batman, so to speak, are from my sister. I kid. I joke. Thank you. Anyway, post your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe. Hand of God. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Unless something went horribly wrong, you should see your name here somewhere in the roll call. Also, the podcast starts on November the 6th, talking a whole bunch of nonsense about a whole bunch of nonsense. And for those requests, they should be coming shortly.